I'm Brent.
I'm Dan.
Welcome to Live Forever.
That was pretty good, man. That was a little R&B.
Yeah, man. Yeah, taking a note from my ghetto boys.
Yeah.
They're my friends. Not really. I don't know 'em. I don't know anyone.
I don't know anybody either, man. Who's the most famous person you've either met or know or are related to?
You can't say met because I've shook hands with comedians and been in meet and greets with rock bands.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, met.
Bert Kreischer.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, shook my hand. He wanted to talk to me, and I was like, yeah, it's like 2 a.m. I got to drive the rest of the way to South Carolina from Virginia tonight.
Damn, you drove to Virginia to see Bert?
No, I flew to Pennsylvania and looked between Pennsylvania and Charleston what comedians and where and when.
Right.
He was in Virginia that night at 10 p.m., so I hauled ass and made it in time.
And you stopped and...
Stopped to watch the show, had a couple drinks, and then got in my car and fell asleep, and then woke up 4 hours later and drove the rest of the way home.
Wow, so you kind of were living like a comedian there for a second.
Yeah, man. I'm a roadie.
Stopped in, got up, left. Speaking of, you haven't read any of that stand-up book, have you?
No, I haven't.
Man, neither you or Kellett have.
And you gave it to both of us?
Yep.
Shit. I'm going to.
It's cool.
No, I will. I honestly forgot.
I'm not done with it.
The other day, I remembered, and then I forgot again, and then you just reminded me again. So I will get to it.
Seriously, have you ever read any Hunter Thompson?
No, Hunter S. Thompson? No, I have not.
But you're familiar with...
Yeah, I know who he is and what he did. And
yeah, that's...
Everyone's seen Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. But I've seen documentaries on him and other stuff.
Actually, the Criterion collection of Fear and Loathing has some awesome Hunter Thompson documentary style footage. Anyway, it's not a big surprise that he's friends with Johnny Depp because that book details that he's basically like the comedian version of Hunter Thompson.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
He's out of fucking control.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, not like, hey man, he's out of control. You better go handle him. It's like, he's out of control. This is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not in a bad way. Not like a train wreck, like a plane landing in a river. Everyone's going to be all right, but it's going to be a scary landing.
And it's a float plane, and Indiana Jones is there, and there are crocodiles.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining.
Like it's a plane crash, but...
Is it really a crash? It's more of a plane
adventure.
Yeah, it's more of an adventure than a crash.
Yeah, exactly.
How you been, man?
Not too bad.
Busy with work this week?
It's weird. I go in and out. Like, sometimes I'm, staring.
Holy shit.
I'm, looking around me like is it my birthday? Like, why is this easy? And then other times I'm like, fuck, they expect me to do way more than I'm capable of.
Before we go any further, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to make you, and I know you want to, tell the story of what happened to you 2 fucking days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I wasn't for a second. I'm pretty sure somebody was filming Final Destination in Charleston because I was riding back from...
Dan apparently is going to live forever because he's unkillable. It's basically the storyline.
Either that or I'm at the early stages of superpowers.
Yeah.
And I kind of smell like a whiff of ozone here and there. Like, what is that? It smells like electronics burning.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Don't you hate when you walk into a place and you're like, something's not right here? And they're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, I know what electronics burning smells like and something's burning.
I'm pretty sure most of my adult life is just trying to find where that smell is coming from.
Yeah, right? God damn it. What's about to catch on fire?
Is that me? Is that... No, it can't be me. Must be the fridge.
Must be the fridge.
Right? Everybody's looking for that shit. Anyway, I'm trying to get back to the office one day, a couple days ago, and like someone cracks a bullwhip. Ka-chow! 20 feet, 30 feet away from me, high tension, high voltage wire snaps.
Power line
Overhead. And it looked like it was edited by a professional After Effects artist because there were like 3 and 4 foot arcs just from the initial snap. It lays down. I stop because I'm not moving until I see what's happening.
because high voltage kills people.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my dad works for SCNG, and he tells me stories about how, like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
guys would, well, he worked for the gas side, but he knew guys, like, on the electric side who would be working. The wire would hit them, like, because they wear long rubber gloves, like, up to their shoulders. Well, the wire would hit underneath and blow their arm off and kill them.
Dude.
Yeah. So that's strong.
And maybe you could ask him, what's that thing that they do where they've got like the hooks on the, like the super high tension? This wasn't, what I experienced a couple days ago wasn't one of these, but you know, like the super high tension that are like way up in the air and those linemen have to like,
They're grounding them.
they like make themselves like the same phase as the wire or something.
Yeah, they're grounding that wire to what they're on, so they're like insulated from a complete ground.
But if there's something like that they do to themselves to like make them not necessarily part of the circuit,
But they're
but
electrified.
part of the ground.
Yeah,
They're electrified.
yeah. Basically,
Like
that's what
their
it
hair will
is.
stand up and they just feel really weird.
Yeah, they basically, if they touch anything else, they would die. But they're not going to die because
Yeah, like they're part of the same circuit.
yeah,
or
basically,
something.
yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know how it works, but it's
You know what I'm talking about though?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, ask him next time you talk to him what
Well,
the
he
hell
worked
that
on the
is.
gas side. I don't think he really knows much about electrical stuff.
Ask him.
I will. Anyways, you were driving.
Anyways.
Wire snaps.
I'm driving. Wire snaps. I stop. One idiot drives over them. 2 idiots drive over them. And the wire lays down next to me. I mean, in front, on the side, and behind. Sparks. There's sparks everywhere. 6 foot, maybe 250-pound dude from the utility company gets out of his truck and he's like yelling at the whole crowd. And it's a crowd. This is a street in Charleston that, I mean,
It's a very busy street at this time of day.
it's called Ashley Phosphate. It's so busy, people call it Ashley Frustrate because it's a nightmare to get. I mean,
Morning and evening, actually, anytime during the day, it's really a
anytime
pain in
during
the
day,
ass.
It's awful.
But morning and evening, and you're there at the evening, like what, 4 o'clock ish?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Like when people are getting off work and it's,
Right.
the
It's starting
traffic's
to
starting
get-
to pick up.
Yeah, really busy. And I'm not going anywhere because in front, on the side, in back, to my right is one car. Obviously, bunch of cars behind me. Guy behind me starts laying on his horn, and I'm just like, I do one of these, you know, like they throw the hands up, like, fuck you,
Like, fuck you, I don't care.
I'm not doing anything.
No, yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna sit here until I figure out what's going on. Guy behind me decides to drive around, so he has to drive over those high voltage lines,
Fucking idiot, man.
and you know, big 250-pound dude is screaming at everyone, "The wires are live! The wires are live! Don't drive over them!" And I'm like, yeah, no shit. So I'm sitting still. Guy next to me goes across. Right when he passes the wires directly in front of me, kapow! Like a fucking movie set, the transformer explodes, and it's like someone dumped kerosene across the rest of the wires up above us because there was just a flame that was just like,
Like an Indiana Jones prop, like flame across the wires.
like it's supposed to
like
do
a
this on
fucking
a
movie.
Disney ride.
Yeah, yeah,
Like-
exactly. Like
Like,
Universal,
this is where the part where this goes on fire.
like you were in Universal Studios and just didn't know it.
100%. I'm just watching all this go on. Dude then stops as the flaming wire has broken and hits the top of his car. I'm like, well, he's dead now.
Dan accepts the fate of another fellow human being.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you're a dumbass and you're dead now. Nope, he's fine. Just drives on with these scorch marks on top of his car. So I call my boss. I'm like, power line's down. He's like, yeah, no shit. Our power's down too. I'm like, great. Well, I don't know what's happening.
This is all like within 100 yards of your company too.
Yeah, maybe like a block.
Yeah.
And the guy to my right scoots into a parking lot and finds a way out. And I'm like, fucking sweet. There's nothing over there. I'm going there too.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I start to follow that car back to Palmetto Commerce, I hear what sounds like gunshots and these same dumbass utility workers running further down the street. I hear pop, 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 and then just like a puff of smoke waving, like wafting down the street. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here because one of these morons is gonna kill me, man.
So it was basically Final Destination from
sure.
Dan's eyes. Something was trying to kill you, and you escaped.
It felt like that. Like if there was an invisible fucking Godzilla knocking over telephone poles, that's what it would have looked like. I know it sounds like an exaggeration, but a line of fire, fireworks on the transformer, and like sparks.
See, I think a lot of people
everywhere.
don't understand like how extremely dangerous
so much power
lines are.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
seen a bird. No, was it a bird? No, it was a squirrel. Run across a power line. I don't know what he hit, but mid-run, boom, puff of smoke, fell dead.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. I mean, I was like 13 when I saw it. I was like, what just happened to the... He was just running on the power line.
Super common.
But yeah.
And fucking
it's
idiots,
like
man.
10,000 volts, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's a ridiculous number. It's not the voltage that kills you. It's the amperage. It only takes 0.5 milliamps, I think, to kill a person.
Okay, think about this.
Or is it 0.05 milliamps? It's something really tiny. It doesn't take a lot.
Amperage, it's almost nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like...
But think about this. So, wall socket, 110.
Mm-hmm.
Washer dryer, what? 220?
220.
440, maybe?
No.
Maybe a large appliance in like an industrial environment?
Yeah.
440?
Yeah. Large AC units on top of
Large
it. I've been
AC
hit by
unit?
440.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
What's on those lines? Way more powerful.
Like 10,000 volts.
Yeah.
Not 440 volts. 10,000.
Instant, painful death.
Like, I think an electric eel is like up there, like around 8 or 10,000, but it's a lower amperage again. It's really the amperage. The voltage, I mean, yeah, the voltage is what, I guess, the pain that you feel is.
I don't know.
I don't understand how it works,
I don't
but
know.
I know the amperage is what kills you.
That's what they say.
Well, that's how it, what's the Tesla thing? With the long tube with the ball on the top?
Tesla coil?
Tesla coil. It's extremely high voltage, but low amperage.
Right, exactly.
So it throws a lot of sparks, but you can touch it and
it's
you just get a
basically
tingle.
like static.
Yeah. Well, and that's what static electricity is. It's high voltage, low amperage. But,
Right.
I mean, a fucking power pole that's grounding is fucking, I mean, it's a shit ton of power.
I mean,
It
just
will
for,
make
by example, like 110 is what, like 3 to 5 amps usually in a wall socket?
The breakers are usually 20 amps.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an electrician.
Well, I mean, most
breakers are like
20
15
amps.
to 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when it hits that 15 or 20 is when it closes and goes, hey,
That's too much power.
that's too much power.
Yeah, that shit was nuts, man.
Yeah.
Really, really strange.
Yeah, it literally takes milliamps to kill you.
I'm glad you remembered that because you were like, anything happened to you this week? And I'm like, not taking the bait. I'm like,
a lot of shit happened. I've been waiting
guess.
for you to tell the story. You told me earlier this
know.
week, and I was like, dude, you're definitely telling that again because that is the most amazing story I've ever heard of. So this week we're talking about oh, that's not the right word. Not telekinesis. Telekinesis. Listen, guys, I've had a bad week. I'm drinking.
Yeah,
We're gonna be all good.
Brent actually contemplated Ubering over to the house because he's like,
I know what it's going to be like when I get there.
I might get a little fucked up. I can't get too hammered. Or other choice, get real hammered
And take an Uber.
fall asleep early. It's kind of what I did last night.
Yeah, but, especially if you don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's tempting.
You ever done that?
Yeah,
Where
but
where
usually...
you're like, look, I want to slide into home plate at, like 8:30 so that I know I'm going to get up early.
Yeah.
So you like...
I hate waking
You
up
like
with a
tank
hangover.
it real early? You ever do that?
Yeah, I do, but I hate waking up with a hangover.
It's a dice roll for me at this point. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
If I stick to vodka, clear liquors,
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's the sugar, dude.
But it's the rum, and I like the rum. Why the rum? The rum and red wine, especially red wine.
Yeah, it's real sugary things.
But they get me the most fucked up, but they also give me the worst hangovers.
You just gotta watch your mixers.
Well, even just drinking straight rum.
Really? Yeah,
this is just dark liquors. Dark liquors, for some reason, do it to me. All right, we're two alcoholics talking. All right, so
and this is our first meeting.
So we're gonna be talking about telekinesis. What do you think? What do you?
Speaking of, can we take a break real quick?
Yep. All right, we'll be right back. We're back.
Yeah.
All right, taking a little brizzake. Brizzake. All right, Brent, that's the word you want to use?
Yeah, you're fancy.
So
you wanted to talk telepathy.
Is it telepathy or telekinesis? It's basically like two hands of the same thing, though.
But I'm thinking we just talk about mind powers.
Mind powers, exactly. Moving shit with your mind, reading other people's minds, making other people do shit that you want them to do.
Make shit happen.
Make shit happen.
Okay, so what I think, telepathy is reading minds.
Yes.
Speaking to other people's minds.
Agree.
And that's it.
Like if you had a telepathy, if you had to... Yeah, you're right. I was going to say...
There's one that I didn't even know about.
I was going to say Professor X, but that's more of a mix between the two. Because he can stop time, which is stopping everyone. So that'll be later on.
That's more mind control.
But telepathy is reading minds and implanting thoughts in other people's minds.
Suggestion.
Or even speaking out loud in other people's minds.
Right. Convincing them that you're, God.
Like right now, you hear us in your mind. We're telepathic.
Telepathetic.
That's
what we are. One that's related, but I didn't know until reading up on this shit. Psychokinesis is supposedly the ability to control someone's mind or actions, but comic book wise, you'd call that telepathy.
Yes, I put that in the same boat as telepathy. Yeah, so that's basically like making someone jump off a building.
Right.
Yeah.
Remote possession. Okay, the other ones.
Telekinesis, which is moving stuff with your mind.
By far the coolest one in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like being able to lift stuff, move stuff, manipulate physical items with thought.
Yeah. And I feel like we can go into that a little further, but maybe once we get to media. But pyrokinesis?
Catching shit on fire with your mind.
That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, that's you really don't see that a lot in movies and stuff. I mean,
not too much.
There's a couple, but I mean,
what other forms are there that we wouldn't necessarily think of right off the bat?
I would think if there's pyrokinesis, there has to be all the other elemental versions of it. But I've never heard of any of them. Like isokinesis? Is that
in theory?
Lightning kinesis?
Maybe.
Is that what Emperor Palpatine uses?
I'm like watching you literally stumble over your thoughts.
Yeah. I'm running through a forest barefoot.
What do you think about like you're running and you're like trying to turn around and talk to me.
Dan, catch up. I'm up here.
No, look in front of you, Brent. Look in front.
Tree. Ah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's say one day you wake up and like we all do from time to time, you try to move something with your mind. I think we all do that from time to time, right? I mean,
yeah, I do it every Wednesday at 3:00.
I don't have a set time, but yeah. I mean, seriously though, every once in a while you do kind of you don't feel like getting up to get something. You're like, and you just stick your hand out. You're like, I mean, just come on, give me powers. Just do it. Just give it to me.
I think I brought that up in another episode where I was talking about being in school, and I know I'm not a Jedi.
Yeah, because you've tried.
Because you stare at shit forever, hours on end, and you're not moving anything.
Let's say one day you wake up and it works. Yeah. You're able to move objects with your mind.
Legit.
You're able to read people's minds. You're able to speak into people's minds.
Yeah, what about it?
What would you do with that power?
Read minds and speak into other people's minds.
I mean, should it be two separate things? I think it should be.
No, I mean, I feel like it's the same.
And move objects?
No, I feel like that's different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That the moving objects is separate from the reading and implanting.
I mean, it could be, but it could all be the same if you're like, some kind of Superman of the brain.
Well, let's separate it. Left brain, right brain. Left brain.
That's a good way to think of it, but yeah.
So you wake up and you have the ability to read people. You wake up and you hear your wife talking. You're like, what is she fucking talking about?
Like hear
She's
people's
rambling,
thoughts?
and you're find out you're hearing her thoughts.
You know what's weird?
What's wrong? Not what's wrong. What's weird?
Uh,
that happened one time? Don't say that.
I bet if I could read your mind, I would hear the same voice that you read shit in.
I was going to bring that up because
Nice.
when you here's the exception. If I have seen a movie and then I read a book about the movie,
Yeah, you just hear it in their voice.
read it in the voice of the actor.
Yeah.
But when your self-consciousness, is that the word? That's not the word. Your brain speaker.
Man.
The mayor of Brainville.
Do people listening to this just like feel like they're behind that glass wall at a kindergarten sometimes?
I think
Or
more
like
of
a
a mental
preschool?
institute. I think more of a mental institute.
Oh, yeah, the People Aquarium.
Yeah, the People Aquarium. What do you do you talk to yourself in the same voice that you speak? No, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'd have to ask Terry. She talks to herself a lot.
I talk to myself a lot. I said a lot too. Emphasized.
I don't talk to myself that much.
Really?
Really?
Like you're never just driving and you're just like, you never have conversations in your head with yourself?
No, I used to a lot. And then I think I read somewhere that that's a sign of mental illness. And I'm
You
like,
did.
yeah, why would I have a conversation with myself? Because
Well, you're working things
I
out.
already know what I'm thinking.
But do you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't think everyone knows what their self-conscious is thinking, though.
Okay, we're veering off.
Yes. Okay, anyways.
No, I was thinking about this today. Like, if you narrow it down a little bit further, just the ability to hear someone's thoughts.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't hear it in their voice?
What would you do with that?
Oh, what would I do with that?
I think I would not only feel really good about myself if somebody actually liked me.
I would feel like a creep.
Yeah.
I would feel like a voyeur.
Kind of like you drilled a hole in the bathroom door and
Yeah.
you're like watching them take a shower.
I would feel like a total creep.
Hey, what's up? What's going on in there?
Like I would feel like I'm not supposed to hear this stuff. Like I'm not supposed to know what they're thinking right now. Like you're going to hear someone talk shit about you and you can't say anything about it because they didn't say anything out loud about it. You know someone's going to be like, "Man, fucking Dan's a fucking dick." And you're going to be like, "Okay, so he thinks I'm a dick. Fuck him." And then you're going to be like, "Well, I mean, he's a cool guy. He didn't really think I'm a dick, but he thought I'm a dick." I mean, you can't say anything about it. It's almost like a prison, man.
Maybe I'm just that much more dumb than most people, but the fact that I don't talk to myself all that much, like I don't really think out loud all that often. Like I think about shit, but I don't like have a conversation in my mind unless I'm like reading something.
Totally have conversations like me to me, like multiple personality conversations in my mind. That didn't sound right. I shouldn't say multiple personalities. Like, you ever have like, I'm sure this has happened.
But I've had them. Yeah, I'm not saying it's never happened.
But you've had this situation, I'm sure, because you're married, where your wife says something and you're like, "All right, well, I'll talk to you later." And you're driving home and you're like, "Well, she's going to say this and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to say this."
Oh, where I imagine winning arguments? Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically have a fight with an imaginary person, but technically you're having a fight with yourself.
Right.
And then you get home and it's not even a thing.
It's not even a thing.
It's not even a thing.
Like she's not even mad.
Yeah, you're like, what are you talking about? I was just
Like you're all ready for it.
I was just like, I just asked you if you picked up burritos. You said no, and I was like, okay.
But I was gonna say, did you pick up burritos? And she'd be like, no. Why did I do that? Like, I don't know. Maybe I thought you would do something for a change.
Maybe because I fucking told you to pick up burritos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think if you were hearing someone
Practicing.
else's thoughts, you would hear both those voices?
I feel like telepathy would be. I would be able to more like
Would you
audio,
be able to
more like audio visual. Like it would project an image in my mind because I'm a visual thinker.
Yeah.
Like I think in like basically daydreams because I'm a silly bitch, and I think about things as I imagine them, which probably makes it dangerous for me to drive around.
Oh, you ever been driving? You go, I don't know what I've been doing for the past 40
Ooh,
minutes.
yeah, autopilot. Yeah, it's scary.
It's like, I know I took like several turns back there. Don't remember any of the turns.
Fucking A.
Stayed in my lane though, so that's good.
But since I don't like self-speak all that often, I imagine things. To me, telepathy would be like, I can see what you're imagining.
Okay, that same. One hand, the other.
Yeah.
Vision versus sound.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, I mean, what would you do with? Yeah, what would we do with that? Like, I would feel like dirty for having that power. And would you be able to control it? Like, would you be able to cut it off, or would it just be like if you're in a crowded room, you're hearing everything all at once?
Oh, like schizophrenics?
Or like you can hear everyone's opinion, you can hear everyone's thoughts, or see everyone's. It's a jumbled mess that you can't control. Or can you just cut it off and be like, okay, I want to read that person's mind or that person's mind?
That's like a problem schizophrenics have. It's like one of the symptoms. It's like
too much going on at once.
Phantom voice syndrome or something like that, where and it's not just like, oh, I hear voices. Like they're afraid, or maybe it's broadcast voice syndrome, something like that. They're afraid that their thoughts are being picked up by other people. Like that's one of the paranoias that they have.
A little side note, because I like to do this. Have you ever heard of exploding head syndrome?
No.
I've had that before. No, it's a real thing.
What are you talking about?
Where you're either laying down, you're trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden you hear basically what sounds like a shot going off, like
I've
right
had
next to
that.
your head, and you like bolt awake, like, what the
had
fuck
that.
was that?
I've had that.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, no, there was an explosion. I definitely heard it. And it's like, and you know, even your head's still ringing, like, there was definitely a noise, but there wasn't. It's crazy.
I feel like that's just like a mini aneurysm.
It's actually called exploding head syndrome.
Awesome.
Sorry to side note, but I mean, yeah, I would feel dirty, but at the same time, I would definitely use it to my advantage. I mean, to know what your boss is thinking about you, like what you could definitely.
What about chicks, bro?
Guide your life, and I mean, I'm
Would you
married.
have a hard time
I'm
being
married,
faithful?
Dan.
I mean, what? Yeah, see? What if you're walking past some super hot, like insanely hot, like cartoon hot? Like, it's not possible. Like, it's impossible that you're that hot.
See,
And she's like, I wish that dude would take me home.
dude, this is where darkness and lightness, me and you separate, because my head goes the other direction. What if you're sitting at home and you hear your wife thinking about another dude?
Oh, dude.
Right? I mean, you can't say anything. You don't have any proof. You just, you know,
That's not
she's like,
fair because it's not like I've never thought about chicks.
no, but what if she's like, man, last night was really fun with so and such?
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have any proof. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
I'd be testing our friendship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You got a shovel, bro?
I'm not gonna help you kill anyone, Dan.
I didn't say kill.
Silent winks.
I just said bury.
I just said bury.
You got a shovel.
Yeah, let's see. Desecration of corpse versus murder. Yeah, I could go with that.
Anyway,
But
back to telepathy.
see, that's where me and you differ, man. You always go to the brighter side, like, hey, man, would you pick up chicks? I'm like, hey, man, what if your chick was like banging 6 dudes that you didn't know about?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, both sides. Like, I don't think I would. I think I'd be like, yeah, she thinks I'm hot and sweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I would definitely use it to my advantage to be like, oh, well, chicks like it when I do this.
It would be interesting. Like I
Like
would,
during sex would be super interesting. Like you would be like, oh, she wants me to go this way some more. Oh, she wants me to do this.
Bro.
Oh, she wants me to do this. And you'd be like, fucking King Dong over there.
King Dong.
Tearing shit up. She'd be like, where did that come from? I'd be like, I was reading your mind, bitch.
Donkey Kong.
It's like you were inside me and my mind.
Get your dick out of my brain.
Get your dick out of my brain.
Oh, man. What else do you think of as telepathy, though? Clairvoyance?
Ooh, being able to, like, predict
okay,
short
maybe
distance
clairvoyance
in the
is the
future.
wrong idea. Okay, so, like...
Well, you would be able to predict short distance into the future by people's thoughts around you. You would know which way people are turning. You would know which way people are going, what they're doing. It would be a clairvoyant type situation.
So when people try to test people for ESP...
I think the most common thing you see is the
flashcard thing?
Flashcard thing, yeah, exactly. All right, just tell me what's on this card. Boom.
Couple
put it
of
down.
wavy
Boom,
lines.
put it down. Put it down. And like then you
I was just going to say 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I think I would use that power I think I would rob a bank. Because you would know who's thinking about pushing a button. And that's if you could separate it. If you could look at someone and you go, okay, well, I know that's them thinking and not just a group mumble. You could really take some shit down, like, pretty quick. Like, oh, I know he's going to throw a punch. Boom. And dodge it.
You would know if somebody was going to,
press the silent alarm.
Hit the silent alarm, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You would know what people are thinking. You would know exactly who to stop, when to stop them. Because people think before they act. Not necessarily, though.
And how fast do you think? I don't think very fast.
And then you have to process what they're thinking before you think about thinking. And then animal instinct, like some people... God damn it, Dan. No, what I'm saying, like...
You think before you think, and I'm thinking and before you think.
If I hear what you're thinking, I have to think about what you're thinking before I plan a reaction. So it is a delay in my action compared to what you're going to do.
But what about my reaction to your action?
Well, that's further down the line, man.
So how are you going to keep...
That's what I'm saying. It's
counterpointing my point.
I wouldn't be able to.
How do you know?
Oh,
I mean, if you're smart enough, powerful enough for telepathy, maybe you're super fast on the brain.
That's true. And then also you got to think about animal instinct. Some people act without thinking. And if you do that, you can't predict that.
It's true.
It's
reflex.
reflex, muscle memory.
Yeah, reflex. Instinct.
Yeah.
Can't fight that shit.
You have no power over that. You go, oh my God, he just jumped. I didn't think he was going to jump because he didn't think he was going to jump, but he jumped.
Interesting. And it's funny, like, I'm glad I read about psychokinesis because you would think, like, oh, well, I have telepathy, so I would just, like, cause a tiny rainstorm in each of one of their brains, and they would, like, be not paying attention while I robbed the vault.
Well, see, I think that's where telekinesis would be better because you could just hold people in place.
Yeah, that seems
Fuck
different.
your thoughts. I'm just going to make you not be able to move or speak. I'm just going to freeze you in place and then draw the money out the bank while I stand here into these bags, and then the bags are going to follow me out the door like a magician.
Telepathy.
You know, one thing I do have to bring up that I don't really think falls in this category, but it's close enough.
Okay.
Hypnosis.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Do you think hypnosis is real?
Yeah.
Do you do?
Yeah.
You think suggestion of thought is real?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to like a hypnosis, like a show, or have you ever been to like a hypnotherapist?
Yeah, there was a guy in my hometown that was a psychiatrist that, he used hypnosis in his practice.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems crazy that it's real. And I totally believe it's real, but at the same time...
Ooh. It was real creepy, though, one time.
Yeah.
There was a party at the chick's house who her dad was this dude, and totally fine with it. It was not a big deal to like hang out with this chick's dad because he was cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course everybody's like hypnotizing people, and this one chick went real dark and like had a friend that was killed in a fire, and she like remembered it.
What?
And like immediately like started bawling and was like, and what's her name in this thing? And get out! And he was just like, and like she snapped out of it.
And she's like, what's everyone looking at? And was she just like, what's everyone looking at? What's going on?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I totally forgot about that till just now.
Like, like when I was younger, I thought like, oh, that's total bullshit.
It was scary.
But then like the more you kind of look into it, I think we've all kind of looked into it before. It's kind of like, I mean, that could be a thing. Like,
what, hypnosis?
Yeah,
it is a thing.
Well, I know it's a thing now, but like, you have to be open to being hypnotized, right?
You have to,
obviously,
you kind of have to let it happen.
You can't sit there with your arms crossed, and go, you're not going to fucking hypnotize. Obviously, you're not going to
force it out. Then yeah.
But like the stage hypnotist is what I'm talking about. Like at the fair, where they get a bunch of people on stage, and it's like
there are people that are more susceptible than others. Maybe that's a good episode. Maybe we look into hypnosis.
I think hypnosis is a completely separate thing, but it is mind control in a way. It's like a real telekinesis. Like
that's more telepathy.
Telepathy, I mean. In a way, it is. It's implanting thoughts into people's heads and making them act. Whatever. We'll talk about it in another episode, but I just thought it related enough to bring it up.
No, I think that's involved.
So now telekinesis, though.
Yeah.
So you can move stuff with your mind. I mean, how lazy would you become? Because let's be honest, I'd be real lazy.
So lazy.
So lazy.
Now here's the one that's real interesting to me. Telekinesis yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can make yourself float.
Fly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just making sure.
But why fly when you can just bring everything to your mouth? Because that's what we're all thinking about, right?
Bring what to your mouth?
I don't know. Food, women. I don't know. Whatever you want. Yeah. See, even that is still.
What are the implications of this?
What do you mean?
Not to mention. Okay, so how strong is this?
That's the thing.
Foot-pounds and
distance.
How much practice do you need to make a person float, including yourself? Like, when you pick up.
All right, let's say
something that's not all that solid, like in the
mayonnaise?
wrong spot, like mayonnaise, or like a dog.
So let's say
pick up a dog the wrong way.
Let's say you start one day. You
snap its spine.
One day you wake up and you make a pencil roll across the table. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something you would have to build up.
Sure.
But I think it's more of like you'd be able to
imagine
a field.
Starting with pencils.
Imagine a field in whatever shape you wanted to, so you could hold anything you wanted to in a certain shape.
That's a good way to think of it.
So let's say, imagine you wake up, you can roll a pencil within a month, you're able to full-blown lift a car.
Just from believing in yourself.
Yeah, just from practice and believing in yourself.
Watching Empire Strikes Back a lot and, trying.
It's so weird when I don't know why, but
I just always think of Yoda, and he's like, I can't, I'm trying. And he like lifts the whole fucking spaceship out, and he's like, do or do not, there is no trying.
Well, I was about to bring up another movie, but that'll be later on. I keep wanting to go to that, man.
What?
Movies and stuff, but we'll get there eventually.
Oh, my bad.
So what would you do? What
would I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it feels a little bit like superpower-ish.
You're a month in of being able to control shit with your mind. You can lift
thought about this.
Just about anything.
I've thought about this.
Go ahead.
Tell me if this is way off. So, if you could telekinetic shit, do you feel like you could create a surface?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can create any form you think of.
Like an invisible surface.
Yeah.
And so if I want to make a surface the size of a softball and just like force it through your fucking skull, I could do that.
It'd be more like a baseball hitting me where my head would bash back, but it depends on how strong you are.
Yeah,
how
much
strong
force there is.
Eventually, you'd be able to get up to where you could, make a gumball sized ball to just pew, 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 kill everyone in the room if you wanted to.
Right.
If that's what you trained to do.
Right. So my thought
would be assassin.
Always was like, you could pretty much do whatever you want with telekinesis if you're powerful
Pretty much
enough.
You'd be Magneto is what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of.
You'd be Magneto with everything instead of just metal.
Kind of crossed with Invisible Woman. She's way more powerful than people think. She does that. She can create invisible fields.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I would do lots of flying for sure.
Yeah, I think flying's everyone's want and wish.
I think it is until people realize that there's like not that much oxygen and it looks really weird when you're up high.
But if you create a large enough field around you while you're flying, you can keep as much oxygen as you want in there.
How would you feel about, mind control, like a mine shaft? Dig like a tunnel with that shit.
Yeah, you could do that.
Would you go super deep? I feel like I would. Just see what's down there.
I mean, just to create a lair underground for my evil intentions, of course.
Yeah, where your hidden lair, you and the Morlocks.
Underneath the bedrock that no radar can penetrate.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. There'd be all kinds of cool shit because, yeah, you're right. You fucking nailed it. I basically want to be like Magneto. Like, because I feel like if I can float myself around, can I not like create a barrier for myself that contains some oxygen? Can I go into space? How fast can I move? Speed of light? Fast as my brain? I don't know.
Yes, I think it's fast as your brain. So the fastest thing you've ever seen move, basically, as long as you can keep up with it. Like as long as you can mentally keep up with it.
Well, clearly, mentally, I can do quite a bit.
I don't think it'd be the speed of light, but I think it'd be.
How do you know?
Fast as fuck.
It'd be pretty fucking fast because my brain's already fast. If it's fast enough to float me in the fucking air, it's got to be even faster.
But here's another thing. I think. Oh man, I don't know, man.
That's stopping bullets like Neo, like it's
Yeah, you could definitely stop objects with your mind. But again, it depends on how trained up you have.
I feel like I'd have to be wearing a trench coat at the same time, though.
Yeah, you got to wear the trench coat. No. Mr. Anderson. As far as what I would do, though.
Yeah, what would you do?
I think I would surgically remove tumors from sick people.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just kidding. I'd rob a bank. Dan, that's what I'd always do.
Yeah, what's up with the bank robberies?
I mean, money
you can get money so much better, so many better ways.
You know what? Honestly, I would probably create something.
Asteroid M, you're basically Magneto again.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I probably would create some sort of machine with my mind that creates enough energy.
Like a giant alternator or some shit?
Yeah, that I can just run with a small portion of my mind always. Like, all I got to do is turn this wheel. So this tiny part of my brain is constantly thinking about turning this wheel. But the wheel is so big that it's free energy.
There's plenty of energy for everything.
Exactly.
Whoa.
And it would just be such a small thing to even think about. And if you forgot about it, you'd be like, oh yeah, shit, wheel. Okay, we're good for a little while.
Oh, fuck, shit.
Shit, New York power's out. Hang on. There we go. I mean,
what about when you sneeze? Do you think like the power would hiccup when you sneeze?
Oh, how fucked up would that be? You sneeze and you see a car flip upside down.
Fucking Brent sneezed again.
I think.
Thanks a lot. No school today. Brent sneezed.
I think I would honestly try to be a superhero.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I mean, the first few weeks, would you not keep an eye on the news and be like, all right, and you float over to wherever the problem is?
I would just be handling shit.
And you're just like, stop. You'd have to create a cool outfit.
Yeah.
What would your cool superhero outfit be? Colors. Let's start with colors. What colors? Two-tone.
Two-tone? I think I'd just go like black and white or black and blue.
Yeah, I'm thinking gray and black for me.
Because I'm fat.
Yeah.
I need some form-fitting.
Don't want stripes.
Like some of that like
maybe vertical stripes, not horizontal.
I need some of that like some of that Batman vinyl.
Ooh.
That like makes me look like I'm strong, but I'm not.
Know what you need? You need a fucking cape made out of Kevlar.
Kevlar cape, because somebody's gonna try and shoot my ass.
Or someone's gonna try to shoot someone else, and you can block all the bullets. But I guess you could block the bullets with your mind, but maybe you're not strong enough yet, Dan.
So do you feel like you could feel?
You would have to be able to. I really think it's more of electromagnetic.
If you're that powerful with kinetic energy, that you understand it to the point where you can control other shit, don't you feel like
you would feel it,
like Spidey sense, like you would see that shit coming a mile away?
Have you heard about people
like,
who?
Kapow!
You've heard about people who like?
Oh, trying to shoot me down with a missile? Fuck you.
Do like dermal implants of magnets and stuff?
No.
You haven't heard about this?
Nope.
So people literally implant magnets into their skin, which gives them kind of another
I like how
sense.
you had like a condescending tone for a second. Like, you haven't heard about this?
Yeah. Come on, Dan. Get with the times.
Like,
no, people.
Oh, really? I have to explain this to you?
People will implant like rare earth magnets into their hands and shit like that because it literally gives them another sense. They can feel magnetic fields.
I think you're full of shit.
I swear to God, look it up.
All right.
So they're
In a little bit.
They will feel the magnet pull.
Right.
It literally gives them a sense to feel magnetic fields. Obviously, it's super weak because, I mean, it's just a magnet on your skin. But some of those rare earth magnets are pretty strong. I mean, but then again, you got to worry about slapping your hand up against metal because it'll rip it out of your skin.
There may be some truth to that. I just thought about this. You know why they say men have a better sense of direction?
Because they're good looks?
No. Because, sorry, we don't lose all the iron in our blood
Once a month.
And supposedly collects somewhat in our noses. So literally, like, we're like a little bit of a...
I 100%
compass.
Believe that because men can grow
I think
beards
that
and
might be
mustaches,
bullshit. But I heard that somewhere.
Well, I've heard about the Native Americans that they used to be able to, all Native Americans are known for their long hair.
Right.
And I think I've told this before on this podcast.
Yeah, and I thought it was bullshit last time, but go ahead.
But basically, I say the Americans, the new Americans, the English would come and like recruit them and cut their hair so they would fit in the army, but then they would lose their abilities to track and stuff like that because...
Yeah, but maybe they were just bummed out and they're like, fuck these guys who cut my hair.
But I feel like because men can grow beards and mustaches, we're better than women.
I don't know, man. I've met plenty of women that can grow beards and mustaches.
I have met a few. That's
even worse than what you said,
women.
I'm pretty sure.
I have met a few bearded women that weren't supposed to be bearded women.
That didn't work in the circus?
Yeah, no. They were just normal bearded women. Well, what about...
What about what?
What's the gun that uses kinetic energy?
All of them?
Railgun. That's magnetic. But I think really telekinesis would be a magnetic thing. I mean, magnetic force is strong enough to move. I mean, it's strong enough to float a frog in the middle of air if it's strong enough. So
you know
technically,
what I thought was interesting in a in science class, and nobody could really explain it to me perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of kinetic energy and the more interesting one, potential energy. And I'm like, what do you mean potential energy?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's like a spring
that's pinched closed.
Or
and I'm a ball on top of a hill.
But that's not energy.
No, it's potential energy.
But that doesn't exist.
But it does.
But it doesn't. It's not energy until it's a kinetic energy.
Until it is energy.
Bullshit is what I call on that idea. And I told my fucking teacher that in high school. I'm like, I think potential energy is bullshit. I think that's some shit you made up because there's nothing. If you can't measure it.
I don't think your science teacher in high school made it up.
No.
You can measure it. You absolutely could measure potential energy.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Because it hasn't happened.
Yes, but you know the force that is within that spring. You could absolutely measure the force in that spring.
You could guess it.
No, you can measure it. Just like if you have a ball up here, if you're holding it in your hand, it has, and the desk is here, there's potential energy in that ball. The potential energy in that ball is the same as gravity. So you can measure it, just like a spring. You can measure how much pressure it takes for that spring not to move, which is the inverse of the potential energy, I guess, right? The force that it takes to hold it in place.
Right.
So the kinetic energy and potential energy are really inverse, is all it is.
I mean, I know what they are.
I don't know if that's right.
You don't have to explain them to me.
I'm just going back from high school.
It just seems like bullshit. Because
it just seems like the inverse of kinetic energy, right?
They're just calculating something that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you base it on... Never mind. Moving on.
So anyways, I just thought of something. I have to mention it.
Okay.
You know what I would do with my telekinesis power?
Yeah.
Split atoms to create energy.
How would you do that, though?
With training. I mean, if you had the ability to move objects, you would have the ability to split an atom. Right?
Okay. I'm going to take you at splitting atoms for the moment.
I mean, if I can rip a piece of paper with my mind, I can eventually split an atom with my mind.
But you, Brent, can rip a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. It makes a lot more sense for things that you can tangibly do.
Okay,
Like,
well, that's
I
saying you
don't
could
know
never
how-
lift a car with your telekinesis power. So you couldn't stop a bullet with your telekinesis power.
Yeah, but you couldn't even imagine how to split it out. You don't know what
No.
that shit looks like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With government training, eventually that would be a weapon of destruction.
Well, you'd have to
And
have like some
creation
kind
of
of like
life.
supervision as well
Yeah, that is true. But
by doctors.
But
because
like
you're
you
insane.
said, if you train enough, you would be able to feel those forces. Telekinesis is basically
Feel those forces.
feel. I mean, if telekinesis
So you're
is
just gonna turn into like a really annoying hippie in the quad with dragon sticks, like. Yeah, guys, I can totally see it. All this stuff around
you know what I would
me.
become? The best fucking juggler. Oh, yeah, watch this. 17 chainsaws and a baby.
And a baby. Which one's gonna die? None of them.
I throw it up and I'm just like, with my mind.
Seems like gross misuse of your powers, sir.
I know the government's like, hey man, could you like seriously help out with world something problems? Like, listen man, I'm over here juggling chainsaws and babies. If you could leave me alone.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm gonna squash your brain. Ask David. That was last week.
We're gonna take a break real quick.
All right.
All right, we're back. You had one last thing to really add about telekinesis?
Well, it's just basically it's like a force power.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot you could do with it. I mean, we were going to talk about pyrokinesis, but I feel like that's really just telekinesis, but you're able to energize particles enough to ignite.
I mean, it would be dope.
It's like a friction fire for anything that you want.
It would be dope to just like start fires with your brain. But I mean,
You can't really do anything with it. I mean,
yeah,
you can be a mass murderer. That's about it.
Yeah, it's gonna get old fast. Because okay, yeah. Oh, hey, you need a light? Poof. Gotcha, buddy. After you blow a couple minds at the bar, light a couple of campfires that nobody could get going. What else you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Destroying everyone. That's, I mean,
you would be captured and become a government weapon.
For sure.
They would point you in the direction and be like, kill that person.
I would just go turn myself in. Like, clearly I'm a weapon. What do you want to do?
Why would you turn yourself in ever? They will dissect you trying to find out the answer.
Let's burn everybody around me.
Yeah, and then they'll just put you out.
Do you feel like it's just like a fire? I feel like, just because I always want to take things to their maximum.
You do?
Okay.
You don't want to go Brent level. You're like
Yeah.
under Brent level. See, I'm thinking you could charge particles enough. I'm just going to stop there. What?
What?
You just stared at me like...
Like we're both waiting on each other to say something. Like, don't you think like pyrokinetic? Like you start with the easy shit, but eventually you're like napalm, lava.
Yeah, absolutely. You start with, I can light a fire, and then eventually you're like blue flame, hot plasma almost.
Yeah. How much would you restrict yourself at that point? Like somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're like, surface of the sun, bitch.
I mean, really the question is, how much could you restrict yourself?
Lava world.
I mean, we all lose control sometimes.
Nobody likes lava world, but I would make one.
I mean, but we all like get to that level where we snap.
Trying to find that green pipe now, bitch. Lava world.
Yeah, those all Mario sounds. We are expert Foley artists. But I mean, we all get to that breaking point.
Yeah.
You'd have to stop drinking.
No, I wouldn't.
You would have to.
Why?
Because I mean, when they drink, their inhibitions are lowered. It's just that simple. I mean, it is what it does. It is what it does. All right, Brent.
You're acting
English.
like it's emotional.
It is. Would it not be emotional?
What if it's just an action that you're capable of?
But when you're emotional, would you not call on that action? Have you ever punched a wall when you were mad?
Well, if it's socially unacceptable, I've also flicked a couple people in the ear. It's something I'm capable of all the time.
But I'm just
not
saying,
something I do.
have you ever gotten mad and punched a wall?
No,
Really?
not really. No, it's not my thing.
I've done it.
Well, that's because you're an uncaged animal.
I am. I'm a beast within. T16.
Fucking shaved gorilla.
So I just feel like I personally feel like I would get out of control. I would have to like really meditate. I would have to hone it in like Bruce Banner. Meditate, keep it calm.
You feel like you'd be like the angry Hulk.
Oh yeah.
You'd be Fire Hulk.
I'd be like, say it again, motherfucker. Like, and they'd be like, what happened to my eyebrows? Like,
hey, what's going on with your hair?
Say it again.
Like as soon as they touch their hair, just like, Sah!
What I'm saying is, if I had pyrokinetic powers, I think I might lose it occasionally. Like, if someone came up and started just, like, let's say road rage, someone got out and started beating you in the face, you would kill someone. Not purposefully.
I mean, I might start their car on fire before them.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
You might
I would cause more
kill
destruction
someone.
than I would hurting people.
But you might accidentally kill someone without meaning to. Like, what happens if you have a nightmare?
How about this? What are the things required for fire?
Friction.
Heat,
fuel,
oxygen.
Oxygen, yes.
Those are the three things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, OSHA.
Who?
OSHA. That's
one. They said Moshe, like Moshe Kasher.
Nah, that's one of the.
I was like, how did he tell you? Yeah,
that's one of the things they talk about. And so, if you can manifest fire, do you think you could put it out?
Well, see, this is where I think pyrokinetics is the same thing as telekinesis. You're basically just energizing parts. And you could also slow those parts down to put it out. Correct. That's what I feel. You can dissipate the heat as well as create the heat. You cannot create the oxygen or the fuel, but you can create the heat. The heat is all you can create. But in space, you can still get burned without oxygen.
Okay. We need to talk about that at a later date. Because while I don't disagree with you, I still don't really grasp how it's possible to get burnt in outer space.
Well, heat is separate from fire.
True.
An electric coil on a stove will burn you. There's no fire. So you would still get burned in space if you put your hand on an electric coil with no oxygen in there.
Indeed.
Wait, actually, an electric coil, is that even... That's just heat. There's not even fuel there, is it? I guess the fuel is the electricity? Anyways, we got to move on.
Yeah, we totally
have to move on. So... As far as when it comes to movies, games, books, I think we should start with games because there's not that many. I personally can't think of any. There's one game, I don't even remember the name of it.
Unless it's games about other shit.
There's one game where like you can possess people, but that's not even the same thing.
Like possession, yeah. What about but I mean, unless there's superhero games, then that's pretty easy.
But are there anywhere you control stuff with your mind?
I mean, not my mind, but theirs, yeah.
Like
what?
You know,
like Marvel Alliance.
Oh yeah, I guess so. But even then,
or
that shitty X-Men game.
No, there's like Psyops. Did you ever play that?
I think that's the game I'm thinking of, where I said you're like a baby, you can possess people, but you also have like kinetic powers.
Not a baby. You're like a soldier.
There's one specific part I remember where, like, maybe I don't know. There's like a trailer I remember in my head for some reason.
You were like way into like baby shit, like Baby Geniuses
when have I ever mentioned Baby Jesus? Baby Jesuses.
I thought that's what you said. Whatever, Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. I love Baby Jesus. 6 pounds 7 ounce Baby Jesus.
Anyway,
I honestly can't think of any games unless like you manipulate the games, like technically Skyrim.
Yeah, like
when you say
stuff.
Roda. That's technically kinesis.
Dude, I love games where you, like your character can like pick up a box and like move it around and smash somebody. But it's usually like an X-Men or like a Marvel game.
Or like the gun in Half-Life, where you can actually suck things to it and then spit them out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a mechanical.
You can do it in Bioshock.
Yeah, that's true. That's the same thing as like the
you have like a telekinesis. What are those called? Plasmids?
I don't remember. I've played a few of those.
I remember they're called plasmids.
But I mean, there's no game where it's like you can disassemble a building by looking at. I mean, how do you even translate that into a control scheme?
Okay.
Like, in a controller, how would you do it?
My favorite that's probably as close as you can get to that is what's the Star Wars game with Starkiller?
Oh, yes.
Force Unleashed?
Force Unleashed, yes.
I never played the second one.
I played them both.
But the first one...
Oh, yeah, when
the
like, AT-AT's coming at you and you're like... And it crushes it into a ball and drops it.
When you're like pulling down the fucking Star Destroyer, you're just like... And you're like and you dragging it into the ground with your
controller's
mind.
rumbling and you're like, I'm actually doing it.
Yeah, you feel like you
are. It
are.
really did.
It's awesome.
It was pretty awesome. That was actually a really underrated, great game.
Fucking awesome game.
Yeah. I mean, the second one was I mean, it was a lot of like, oh, collect this crystal so you can have a black lightsaber. And
that's stupid.
Yeah, that's what it felt dumb. It felt like a lot of like, oh, this is that same game, but there's more to it because it's more of the same.
Did you ever play The Path of Neo?
Mm-mm.
I think that it was intended as a multi-faceted Matrix game. And of course they started with Neo on the original Xbox.
There's a Matrix Online game I never played either.
Yeah, that looked like a big piece of shit.
Yeah.
But you know how in The Force Unleashed there were like the duels?
Yeah,
it was like a separate game.
And boom, yeah, you'd have to counter and attack and
it was as in depth as that with the Path of Neo. Like there's a bunch of cool shit you could do like with your mind, like if you wanted to explode a pillar on somebody, you could.
What's that called in video games where it's like it gets to a certain part and it's like, oh, press B, press A,
quick time
event. That's what I feel like a lot of games like use as a filler almost.
Yeah, but that one wasn't, and that's kind of why I liked it because
was it a lot better?
I felt like you were.
Since I played it.
It gave you the feeling that you were in control of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you would attack, and then all of a sudden, oh, one quick time event.
Yeah.
And then attack. Yeah.
Force push. Seems like telekinetic ability. Like
yeah, definitely.
Just the ability to like force shit away from you seems pretty badass.
For sure. And I feel like a game about telekinesis would be great, but I just feel like it'd be really hard to put it in a control scheme to where it would feel full. Even
that like PsyOps game where you could like move shit around, it's real fucking wonky.
Yeah, it's real wonky, and it's like
floats all over the place, and you're like, I'm stuck on a lamppost.
Yeah, get around.
Now I'm getting shot.
Yeah, I just feel like it's hard to. I mean, unless it was a virtual reality type thing,
that'd be cool.
That would be totally cool. Where like you could literally like, oh, grab that, lift it, throw it, grab that, move it over here, or set it down here. But
I feel like Darth Vader at the end of Empire Strikes Back, and I'm like just like chucking shit at Luke for fun.
Yeah,
like throw like a whole column at his ass. Like you're a little bitch. Boom. Oh, giant box from the side. Boom. That'd be dope to do in virtual reality.
Real quick about virtual reality.
Yeah.
Do you think virtual reality is dead, or you think it's going to be a thing?
I mean, I think it's going to be a thing. Sure.
I think, honestly, AR is going to beat out VR.
I don't know.
I don't know. Have you heard about like the AR glasses where you can look around and it creates things
augmented
in
reality?
Your
sure.
Well, I don't know if our listeners know about it, but I really think that's the way to go because with VR, the only problem you have is you're in a room this size,
honestly, man,
but in the game, you're in a big room.
Until there's like a fucking straight up neural interface.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be that legit.
I remember commercials like maybe when the PS2 came out, like they were making like fake commercials for like the PSX, where it was like this guy like cracked a thing and these spores came out and he inhaled them and like he was playing the game and.
Right.
Did you remember those?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that is totally gonna be the future.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, maybe one day.
Nano technology, that's definitely going to be what happens. It's like, hey, here's your game. Breathe it in. You're living it.
Have you smelled today's game?
I don't know. I don't know. We have a long way to go, but we're also not that far at the same time. It's a really weird place to be.
I agree.
I thought about getting the PSVR, but then I'm like, I don't want to waste my money on it because
it's the mass appeal thing. Like
Connect. It's like, oh, you can pet the tiger. It's like, how many tech demos do I want to play? That's all that came out.
Plus, you're lazy, like all of us. We're all lazy. That's why I don't think VR is going to catch on right away.
Oh, really? Because stand up to play video games.
You're the only one I know.
I know, but it's because I want to feel exhausted.
But why are you so fat?
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Oh, you had to know that was coming.
That's going on the front. So, all right. So games, there's really not, like I said, there's not too many. It's hard to.
It is. I mean,
cross over into.
I think it's fun. Anytime where you can like use a controller with a character and you're like, you're not necessarily attacking them, but you're like grabbing shit in the environment, and
moving
throwing
it
it at them. But it's usually pretty awkward.
Yes.
So movies
though. I mean, I think the number one. Actually, there's two number ones. They're both Stephen King's. We got Carrie and Firestarter.
Ooh, yeah.
And both of those are that's telekinesis, telepathic, 100%. I guess they're both telekinesis. Carrie never did telepathy.
You know, I haven't seen Carrie in so long. I don't know what she did to people.
Well, she locked the doors and then caught the building on fire.
Oh.
So I mean, she could definitely remember she closed the doors, locked them.
True.
I mean, she definitely had
I guess I was
telepathy
just thinking of
or telekinesis. I keep mixing those up.
Firestarter Drew Barrymore?
Yeah, Drew Barrymore can catch shit on fire with her mind, but she's like a little girl. Whereas Carrie's like in high school and gets picked on at the prom. People throw eggs at her, and she's like, blood gets dumped on her. And she's like,
the blood dump.
You broke me. Now I'm going to kill everyone.
Did they really dump blood on her, or was it like
pig's
punch
blood
or something?
That's pig's blood.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked, man.
How horrifying would that be? Like, oh, you won prom queen, and she's up there like, oh my god, I can't believe I won prom queen. Pig's blood covered, and you're like, oh, this was my whole life's a joke. Okay, well now I'm gonna kill everyone. Like that's basically what happened to her,
dude.
Like on top of that, her family at home, her mom was a crazy psycho. Remember that?
Right.
Because she was on the rag, and her mom's like, oh, you're unpure, blah blah. Remember her mom was like really crazy.
Is that Rebecca De Mornay?
That sounds super right, but I don't have a clue.
I don't think it is.
I think it is Rebecca something though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? No one knows. Someone's Googling it right now and be like, you fucking idiots. But so, and then Drew Barrymore, I haven't seen Firestarter in the longest time.
Me either. I have seen it, but
I've seen
been
a
minute.
I mean, it's been since like I was a teenager maybe. I know it's about her being able to create fires with her mind, and at first she does it by accident, and then she's like, gets mean about it.
Sorry.
Some other telepathy movies. Telepathy movies. Mind control movies. You know what I think is a telepathy anime / movie, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's more demon related. Is Death Note?
I don't know that one.
It's basically about a death demon. Like you write you write someone's name in this book, and that person dies.
I feel like you're answering your own question right now.
But is it because you write the name in it and that you think it? Anyways, it could be either one.
Seems all devil time.
Anyways, people die. No one sees them die. Like they die in natural ways, but it's kind of because you're making it happen.
Speaking of anime, what about like shit like Akira?
Well, wasn't she a robot?
She. It was a he.
Wasn't he a robot, I mean?
No.
I was thinking of Ghost in the Shell.
No, they were all like...
I mean, I'm thinking of Ghost in the Shell.
Special kids, you know? Like, oh, they have powers. And like one would like go crazy.
Well...
And like... And like bring a skyscraper down.
I've never been a huge anime fan.
Yeah, me neither.
Dragon Ball Z.
There's a couple of them that are pretty good.
I used to watch Dragon Ball Z in middle school.
That's not anime.
I mean, it's
a cartoon.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I've watched as far as anime. I've seen Ghost in a Shell. I've seen Akira. I've seen pieces here and there. I've seen...
You ever seen Evangelion?
Nope. I've seen Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist?
Full Metal Alchemist. I've seen the major movies that crossed over into America, like Ponyo and Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, the Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah, which are great. My daughter loves them
fantastic.
Too. They're really fantastic. What's Spirited Away?
Spirited Away.
God, that's a fucking good movie.
Anyway.
But, yeah, other than that, anime, not so much, man.
So in movies or television.
Movies or television. As far as movies go, though, my number one telekinesis movie?
Yeah.
Scanners.
I've never seen Scanners.
I do not know. Have you never seen Scanners?
I can't see everything, dude.
I know, but
Tell me
it's
what
like,
it's about.
okay. So I'm gonna tell you how it starts because this is the best. So this guy's
so maybe no spoilers.
no. I mean, this happens within the first like 15 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
So this guy's at a speech. He's talking about these people called scanners, and he's like, we need to be careful of these. Like, I'm a scanner. Let me show you the things we can do. They can basically control people's minds, make them do things. They can make
like The
things
Shining?
move. No, but and then he's like, they're stronger scanners that can do more, this, that, and the other. And he
Whoa.
starts sweating, and he's like, and you can tell he's not feeling good. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? All of a sudden, you see this other guy kind of staring at him, like real intently, like, And then, boom, the guy's head fucking explodes.
Fuck. I'm watching Scanners tonight.
And it's like, oh, so these people can do shit with they can get into other people's minds and physically do stuff. And well, if you're going to watch it now, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but at the end, something happens and you're like, oh shit, you can do that? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
It's very mind
make any
versus mind
sense.
attacks. Yeah, I know, man. Firestarter obviously talked about Star Wars. I mean, we can talk about Star Wars because that is.
I mean, that's
I mean, all those powers are mind powers. All the Jedi powers are mind powers.
pretty much, right?
I mean, they all are. Jedi mind trick, telepathy.
Boom.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Power of suggestion.
I'm gonna lift up rocks. I'm gonna
Telekinesis.
put rocks down.
Uh-huh.
Force push. Whoosh. I mean, lightning's the only one that's like I mentioned earlier. Is there a whole spectrum of
lightning kinetic?
elements
I don't know.
for? I mean, if you have pyrokinesis, you have to have ice kinesis, lightning kinesis. Nature kinesis was something I want to bring up. Is that not what poison ivy has?
Yeah, good point.
She can make trees grow or
like-
Swamp Thing.
Like, yeah, Swamp Thing for sure. But like fucking Beastmaster.
Yeah. Is that? I mean, that's a form of like if you can
Yeah,
control
it's
animals.
telepathy, sure.
Yeah, you're reading animals' minds. You're telling them, "Hey, you're my friend, buddy."
Mark Singer. That's the Beastmaster.
Is that? I went to go watch it the other day just because I was like, I like this movie. I haven't seen it in a long
We
time.
watched it like a week ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
I literally put it on the other day and I cut it off before it started.
They know
I was
my
like,
thoughts, I know theirs. That's what
Didn't
it
he have
says.
like a ferret that was like his number one go-to?
Well, he had two
Ferrets, right?
but one of them dies. It's
Spoiler alert.
Kodo and Podo. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, animals. Being able to talk to animals.
And plants. I mean, it
And
is a
plants.
form of telekinesis. If
Fair. Well, that's more telepathy.
I mean
would think.
telepathy. I keep fucking those up, man.
I feel like
it is
I feel like there's another word there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it is telepathy,
it's
but
some sort of like animal husbandry. No, that's breeding.
what is that? What's that book? Prairie Prairie's Guide to.
Prairie Home Companion.
Yeah, that's the one. How do we all know that?
That's a radio show.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought there was a book
No, that's
about
not it.
fucking animals.
Dude,
I'm sorry. That's just what I thought. I'm not a telekinesis.
you sure you're good to drive home?
I'm good. Just fuck with it. But, I mean, I think even the Matrix, technically, that's a form
Well,
of.
it's all with your mind.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's in a virtual reality setting, it's still with your mind, you're doing those things, right? If you're in the Matrix.
That's kind of the whole point. I think you're right. I think that falls in the category.
I mean, so if we're technically in the Matrix now, like some people believe, remember the scientists proved that we're in the Matrix, but then they proved that we're not in the Matrix like a week later? Scientists. You gotta love them.
Nah, it's just the probability.
Um,
The probability of, Moore's law plus time we've existed, the chance that we're in a simulation, etc.
yeah, but I mean, technically if the universe is infinite, there's a chance that anything has happened ever. So there's a chance that I'm God.
True. Stop talking about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're the one who brought it up. Anyways, I was going to bring up Jumper, although it's not telekinesis.
Never saw it.
It's not telekinesis. It's more like they can travel instantly to other places.
That's stupid.
But isn't it maybe a form of telekinesis?
No.
If you can control yourself? Man, I guess not. What would that even be called? Portaling?
Yeah. That's more of a... Yeah. I don't feel like that's related.
Well, I do remember there was a movie with like 3 teenagers who gained superpowers, and they were able to control shit with their mind, and one of them was able to one of them turn evil or something.
I saw a trailer for that, and it looked dumb as shit. So
I never saw it either. I can't remember the name of it. I think it started with a C, but like the one kid turns bad, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to kill him," and then they're fighting in the clouds and they're punching. Yeah, whatever.
Fuck you.
But could you imagine if teenagers gained that power? How terrifying it would be. They would ruin the world.
Well, not entirely, because millennials are all real lazy.
I mean, here's another thing.
And if they couldn't do it with their phone, they'd be fucked.
If you're shot at from every direction at once, can you stop all the bullets?
I mean, maybe if you're Neo.
So what are some movies I've left out? Anything you think of? I guess if you look at the newest X-Men, the newest X-Men where Apocalypse.
I guess that's what I've just been waiting for, is just drop into comics.
Yeah. Well, the newest movie, X-Men movie, Apocalypse takes over Professor X's mind and causes everyone to do crazy shit.
Yeah, I guess he has the ability to take people over.
There is... Fuck. Never mind, that was Death Note. I was thinking of there's one movie where like all these FBI agents go to the roof and they jump off one by one, but it's because a demon is controlling them. Go ahead, something
That's
different.
right. You wrote that shit down.
Yeah,
right?
I went to go write it, and I was like, "What movie is that?" And I was
Still
like,
doesn't mean anything.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
comics,
mind powers in comics. One thing I wanted to talk about in the pyrokinetic realm.
Jubilee.
No.
Real quick.
Fuck her.
Before you continue,
huh?
Craig came up with a pretty good idea. What? I think we should do.
What's that?
Pretty much every episode you've mentioned Final Fantasy.
Yeah, true.
You haven't this time.
Oh.
But I'm thinking from now on, you think of a way to bring Final Fantasy into every episode, and if someone writes into us mentioning what time they've heard you mention Final Fantasy, we will send them a gift.
Oh, yeah. Random gift.
Yeah, random gift.
Of our choice.
Probably a sticker. Something cheap.
But maybe something cool.
Maybe something cool.
You don't know.
If we get enough listeners, it'll start being cool shit, trust me.
Maybe it'll be a floating keychain, so if you're in a boat and you drop your keys, you can, you don't lose them.
Maybe it'll be a month of loot box.
Maybe it'll be a t-shirt with Brent's face on it.
I'm going to make those.
You totally lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. So we were talking about X-Men.
Son of a bitch.
You were talking about telekinesis power, telekinetic powers.
Well, those I'll get into, for sure. I want to go with the fire powers.
Yes, that's right.
Because there was one thing that interests me. There's a distinction for one character.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And it's the stupidest X-Men character, Pyro.
Okay, that's not where
he cannot create fire.
He can only control it once.
But he can manipulate it.
Yes.
So if there's even like a spark,
he can go, okay, the whole
he can
place
turn
on fire
that
now.
into like a fucking dragon made of fire and like manipulate it in any way. Because think about that. Like even if you're pyrokinetic and you're like, okay, I'm going to light that blanket on fire. Okay, great. It's on fire. Good job.
So it's more like he
but
controls...
what's cooler? Being able to just light that shit on fire, or
being able to
if there's a fire, I can like make it circle around you and taunt you until you're terrified, and then like make it pour through the top of your head.
I gotta say, it sounds more like he can control the oxygen and fuel versus the actual heat, making it follow wherever he wants it to go.
Right, he can manipulate it, yeah, with his head. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who that is, and you obviously don't read comics, but you saw the movies, was it the first X-Men movie?
Yeah, well, no, he's in the second one too.
Okay, first and second one.
It's Pyro, I think he's in the third as well.
He's the little kid who has the lighter and lights the
with
little
a lighter.
Zippo lighter.
It's really annoying. But in the comics, League of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in the X-Men.
House of M.
It goes way back. Who else? Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Speaking of fire and elemental kinetic, a lot of people think that's what Iceman is.
Ooh. I guess, see, that's how I feel, though. I feel like if you have the ability to control fire, you have the ability to not control fire, so you can raise temperature or you can lower temperature.
That's kind of what people think that Iceman is, because he can create ice with a tiny bit of moisture. He can take all the moisture in the air and create ice and manipulate it however he wants.
My only thing is, difference between ice and fire, maybe one of them can lower the speed of molecules where the other one can only raise them. So you can only make stuff colder, or you can only make stuff heat up.
Well, yeah.
That is the only difference. I mean, maybe he can only make stuff colder, so he can't create fire. Is that what you're saying, or are you just saying he's another elemental manipulator?
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And that
I guess Storm would also fall in that realm.
That's kind of what I was alluding to with the whole like elemental manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, really, you're just gonna make a cloud appear and lightning show up, or can you manipulate shit with your mind?
Maybe, and maybe these people don't realize that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't realize, oh, I'm dragging negative particles up here and positive down here. I'm just creating lightning, but really that's what they're doing with their head without knowing it.
Man, you should totally DM Storm after this and like see what she thinks. I'm getting a dirty look right now. I just like the way you say it. Like, maybe they don't even realize. Like, maybe this fictional character hasn't thought of this before.
Listen, I live in their world, man.
Yeah, you do.
So, I think we should go with the most powerful mutant. Let's go ahead and talk about her, because she can also create flame. Jean Grey / Phoenix.
Yeah, it's not really Jean Grey. It's Phoenix, who's an alien.
What?
Phoenix is an alien.
Well, who's Jean Grey?
She's a mutant, but she's not that powerful. I mean, she's medium powerful. Professor X is probably far more powerful.
I'm super confused right now. Isn't that the same person?
Who? Jean Grey and Phoenix? No, they're not. The Phoenix Force is an alien that possesses her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't go that deep into her in the
Like
comics.
the Dark Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a possession, like a symbiote type deal.
It is very much like a symbiote.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And, really, the Phoenix is like...
Well, then how come Professor X, like, in all the movies and stuff, he's always like, you're the most powerful mutant we've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. You're so powerful. Does he not realize that it's two separate entities within one? And he thinks, like, maybe the Phoenix is Jean Grey, and that's why... I
think so.
Okay.
Because it's totally not.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Or maybe it was just easier for the movie to explain.
And see, I have a lot of problems with also, like... Which I guess this also falls into that whole realm, Green Lantern.
Fucking A.
I know you don't like DC and stuff, but, I mean, technically, he's using his willpower to create objects.
I thought about that earlier today, and I made myself angry, because I was like... Well, I guess Green Lantern's fucking something mind power.
The comics are pretty good, man. I don't care. I know all the movies and games suck, but it's a decent comic.
Anyway. Yeah, because Green Lantern's power is based on what?
Willpower, yeah.
Willpower, yeah.
He uses will to create physical items.
How does that not sound like an after-school special to you?
Okay, well, if we're going after school special, Captain Planet.
That doesn't relate at all.
Heart.
One thing I wanted to get into, and I didn't want to bring it up before we started talking about comics, was, even though it kind of related to hypnosis, were characters like Mysterio or Mastermind who project a false reality into their victims' minds.
Yeah, that's telekinetic powers. I mean, maybe they only have portions of it too. Maybe they can't control their thoughts or can't make them do stuff they don't want to, but they can. They're illusionists.
Yeah, illusionists. Exactly. That's the best way to put it.
They're
superpowered illusionists that
they make them believe certain things are happening. I mean, so far as to like, oh, you believe you're on fire, so therefore you physically die because you thought you were on fire and burned to death. I mean, I don't know if that was ever in the comics, but I'm
Help me,
assuming.
Jesus! Help me, Jewish God!
There's no fire, Ricky.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm paralyzed.
Stick this knife in my leg.
Don't stick that knife in your leg, Ricky. Don't do it. All right, I'm gonna use this other knife to get that knife out.
Man,
That's such a good fucking movie.
it's good stuff.
Anyways,
That's kind of an interesting idea, isn't it? Like Mastermind. I think they kind of alluded to it with.
well, what about
Do you think
like
they were talking about Legion in the second one with
you got to be a little more
Stryker's kid, the second X-Men movie?
with the kid in the wheelchair with the two
Yeah,
different
that
colored
was
eyes?
like fucking with Charles.
Is that Legion from the TV show?
Maybe.
I mean,
Well, in the TV show Legion,
I mean,
he's
maybe a
fighting
different
the Shadow
version of
King,
them, but
who's also psychic, which is part of the astral realm.
yeah, but then that
Or
gets
supposedly,
into that gets into is demon possession
I don't know. Or is it
psychokinesis.
all in your head?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, is it
That's a good point.
maybe you're turning that power on yourself?
I feel like you would know more about when Legion was going to start back up again because you're kind of in love with Aubrey Plaza.
I think you're kind of in love with Aubrey Plaza.
Nah, you mentioned it earlier.
I think we're both gonna date her if we could.
You're wrong. Seems like a bitch to me.
Yeah, don't you like the crazy ones?
I'm married to one.
I think I am too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll make sure she hears this.
Well,
We love our wives.
yeah, and
So-
that's why we're going to live forever.
That's why we're gonna live forever, man. I think that's about it. I think that wraps up on telekinesis, telekinetic mental powers. I can't think of anything else.
I can't either. Like, can you think of anything else?
I mean, if I dig deep, I could maybe like say, well, if you talk about this, you gotta say
Hang
that
on.
he has this.
Got one. Josh. I think it's McNamara. If you look up this dude, is totally believable on YouTube. Pause it for a sec. Yeah, it's Josh McNamara.
All right, what does he do?
He does several telekinesis.
Like
Alright.
bending spoons type stuff.
No. Moving things with his mind. And he records himself. And it's not like, ooh, like dark web, like those fucked up YouTube channels where you're like, okay, all this is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guy who recorded himself over and over and over moving shit with his mind. And the ones I saw, he like hooked up an EEG to his head so that it could see like the alpha and beta
waves.
delta waves and like what happens while he's trying to move this thing. And it's just like a little pink like vinyl object. And he's not claiming to like, be a fucking Jedi or anything.
Like, you
but
see
he's
it
like,
shake and
but
then you
but
see-
he like reviews. I mean, he like commentates his own video, and he's like, okay, you can skip like for like 30 seconds because nothing happens. But he was like, okay, watch, and it'll be like, it just like moves. It looks like an Advil or something. It's like something really
And
small.
you just see like ever so slight
Yeah.
movement.
You like he's got the camera on it.
And it matches up with his brain waves doing a certain thing.
Yeah, it does. Like, the weird one was when he first started using the EEG, the very first time that he was able to get it to move again, like, all 5 lines of the EEG go, boom, they like drop off and then come back up.
Really?
Yeah, it's really strange.
Oh.
Anyway, Josh McNamara, if you want to look at something that appears to be real, in my opinion. Like the dude, I mean, if he's trying to fool people,
He's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job because he looks like a regular guy who doesn't give a shit. Who's just like, yeah, this is what I do on Saturdays at 2:00, just like in my house.
Maybe I'll get some views.
Here's where I move stuff.
Kind of like a podcast. Hey, maybe we'll get some listeners, and eventually this will become something. But I'm just going to keep doing it until it happens.
Seems like a totally normal dude. Seriously, you should look him up.
I'm going to. Everyone should look him up.
I don't really have much more to talk about in comics. I mean, what more is there to say? Other than, Invisible Woman, in my opinion.
Yeah, you brought that up.
Highly underrated.
Yeah, I feel like the ability to control objects is like so devastatingly strong. Like, I mean,
did you say devastatingly?
Yeah, okay. Shut up, Dan. Devastating.
Devastating, baby.
My tongue. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that versus the power to be able to control people.
Right now?
Yeah, now I am. But that versus the...
It feels fatter than my teeth.
The ability to... Fuck, you had to say that, didn't you, Dan? But that versus the ability to control people, I would almost want that more for the simple fact that you wouldn't be able to get caught because you'd be like, well, no, he did it, not me. Versus like...
Good point.
I mean, I could make you go rob a bank and bring the money back to me.
I was just going to say that. Stop reading my mind, bro.
I'm telekinetic.
Yeah. There's too many edicts in there.
Edicts? Edicts this all up. Well, I think that's about it, man. I'm Brent.
I think so. I'm Dan.
And you've been listening